Today's project is called a teepee card, and it's called a teepee card because it's like a teepee. It's triangular in shape and it stands up on its own, and it's really great. The great thing about this way is the way I made it there's a magnetic closure, and it folds down flat. Like, look at that. It's pretty great. And it fits in one of the standard envelopes. So this is an envelope from Stampin Up, and it is perfect for fitting the card that we're going to make today. So let's get started. This one I used Crumb Cake from Stampin Up, but the one I'm going to show you will be using Old Olive. So to get started, all you need to make this card is a piece of 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, or cardstock I should say, and then we're going to cut it down to 4. We're going to cut 3 pieces that are 4 by 4. Okay, and we'll need one more here. Okay, done with that for a while. Next, you're going to need your scoring board. For this, it's best if you have something that, let's move this light a little over, to have a line drawn down one of the scoring marks, so you can line from corner to corner. You want to have one corner at the very top, and then that opposite corner on the bottom of it to be lined up along the line. So I'll take the smaller side of the stylus and score right down the middle. I'm going to do that to all 3 pieces. Just like that. I've tried scoring down the middle on a diagonal without using a line, and it causes problems. It makes a mess. So it's best to just write on your precious scoring tool, your scoreboard, and make your scoring a lot nicer. So then you're just going to take it, and I like to put it so the ridge, the bump that goes inside. So I just fold towards that. And you're going to fold them in half on all 3 pieces on the diagonal. Okay, and then you can open them up again. Now just take one of the pieces. One's going to be in the center, and I'm going to use my 2-way glue. And then what I do is you're going to layer the other 2 pieces on top, but what you want is for the score lines to make another triangle like this. So you're going to lay them on top like that. So kind of use your finger to remember how far down the cardstock goes, and then just kind of use your glue. You can use any kind of wet glue. I wouldn't recommend sticky strip, or sticky strip would be fine, but I wouldn't recommend snail or anything like that because you want it to be pretty strong, because this will be folded up and unfolded and stuff like that. So make sure you press that on really, really firmly, and then do the same thing on the other side. Kind of get it all over the place. I like this glue because it dries pretty fast. Let's see, this goes this way, and then you want to make sure that the top of the corner here meets with the top of the corner underneath it. So when you fold it in half, it folds evenly. So this is the base of the card. From here, you can take your designer series paper and decorate it. I decided to use magnets on mine. These are just some magnets that I picked up at my local craft store. And with these, I like to see it's going to fold like this. So you're going to have, let's see, get some better light on here. There we go. So this is the flap. It folds in like this and it folds in like that. So what I like to do is put a magnet on one of the corners. These kinds of magnets have a positive and a negative, so just make sure you pick one of each. And I also like to add a tiny glue dot to the back, just in case. I want to make sure this thing sticks on really well. So take the corner, and don't put it too close to the corner, because if you're going to cover it with some designer paper, you're going to want to make sure that that the edges of the paper conceal the magnet. So then you take the other magnet, get my glue dot here. That was a negative, so this one's going to be a positive. Some magnets, let's see, some magnets don't, I think, require that, but this particular kind does. So another glue dot here. They are adhesive backed, but I find that they aren't very great. So how I like to do it is I just layer them on top, and then when you close it, it'll automatically be in the spot that it needs to be. And I like to make sure this part's really pointy, and it matches up as best as it can, and kind of grab where the magnets are and kind of give it a nice squeeze there. When you open it up, they're in the right place. So let's get to covering this book, or this this card up. I have some of the Seasons of Style Designer Series paper. I cut out squares that were 3 3/8 by 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim it down on the diagonal. So we'll take our paper trimmer out, and I'll just line up the corner of this one, the corner at the top and the corner at the bottom of the little ridge. And if you don't get it perfectly centered, it's fine. It shouldn't be off by that much where it will make a difference. This paper is part of the holiday catalog from Stampin' Up, and it's very fun and very festive. It has more of the traditional colors, the reds and greens and the brown and whisper white color. So that's how you do that. So now from this point, you just kind of want to decide which papers you want to put where. I really like this candy stripe, and this is a fun one. It reminds me of a shirt my dad used to have, or would have worn, I guess. So then you kind of just pick out which papers you want to have where. Kind of like the polka dot one too, so I don't know if I'm going to have 2 polka dots. Maybe we'll flip it over and see what's on the back of this. This one's kind of fun. Maybe do that one, and then candy stripe is fun too. So let's see. That's a fun one. How about that? How does that look? I think I like that. Okay, so what I did is I took some soft suede ink, and then I got my sponge and I inked the edges of all the papers. It kind of just adds a little more of a finishing touch to your project. Inking doesn't show up that well, but I like to just get rid of that white core that's on there too, and that helps make it look a little nicer. So we're done with this for right now. You can take your ATG or your snail or whichever your favorite adhesive is. I'm just going to use this real quick and get these on there. I just like to follow the outside, and then what you're going to want to do is just like how the border on this one's a little bit less than it would be if you were to cut it a whole quarter of an inch. I mean, it's like a 1/16 of an inch border. Now this tiny little triangle part measures 2 1/2 or 1 1/2, I think. Let me check really quick. It measures just over 1 1/2, so I'm just going to cut it to 1 1/2. That way we'll have a tiny little border. What I did was just take any of the papers that I didn't use and just cut off the very edge. So you find 1 1/2 here, and then kind of take since you're not really lining it up on anything, you kind of just have to guesstimate, but make sure that it's at the 1.5 line. See how this edge is pretty much the same distance away. Just cut it off there, and then we're going to want to ink that up again, or not again, but ink it up, just to keep everything consistent. Go. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fold it in half to give it a crease here. Okay, so you can cover the inside like I did here. I used just 2 of the triangles to, for one, cover up the magnet, and 2, just to make it kind of look like it's coordinating. So let's do that. I really like this candy stripe color, so I'm going to use that one. Let's ink up. There, you are done with the inside. You can take another stamp and just stamp something. This is where I usually will write my little message like you would on the inside of a card. But for right now, we'll just leave it alone. And there's your finished card base, basically. So let's get to making the little Season's Greetings sentiment there. I took the Season's Greetings stamp from the Many Merry Messages, or More Merry Messages stamp set from Stampin' Up. This is not actually in the current catalog. It was in last year's holiday catalog, but it's still available. It was a carryover from last year, so you can still order it if you like it. And I took a piece of Whisper White cardstock. Let's see. And we're using Old Olive ink. Just ink that up really well. You don't have to press hard. I just like pressing it down and then holding it there for a while to give the ink a chance to sink into the paper before you move the stamp off. So this is the large oval punch, and we're just going to center that in there and punch that out. Then we're going to take a little bit more sponging. I love sponging. It kind of makes it look a little more, I don't know, I think it just makes it look a little more finished. So, and then I also took a piece of the Cherry Cobbler Coordinations cardstock. This is great cardstock. It's has texture on one side and then it's smooth on the other. But what's great about it is this is the you can emboss it and then use the sander, the Stampin' Up! Sander, to make it kind of have like a more distressed look to it. So, but we're not going to do that today. We're just going to emboss it with the Petals of Plenty embossing folder. I have my big shot here. You want to take your multi-purpose platform and move it to no tabs, I mean. So you put a cutting plate down. My cutting plates are so sad. I've had these for almost 2 years, and I think it's about time that I replace it. So we're just sticking the decorative labels punch that we punched out into the embossing folder, and we're going to run that through. And it's as simple as that, and it turns out just wonderful. Look at all the dimension that gives. Plus, I think the cardstock's a little shimmery. I wouldn't say like pearlized, but it kind of has a sheen to it, and that adds a nice touch too. Okay, so what I did on this one is I used some dimensionals. Stuck 2 on the back of this one. Just because the when you emboss something, it kind of makes it harder for the adhesive to stay on, so I like to add just a little bit more. And then I'm just going to center that in there. That looks like that. And then I also took the Boho Blossoms punch and some Cherry Cobbler cardstock. And I just used the top blossom. It's the 6-petal one. I thought it closely resembled something that would be like a poinsettia, so I punched 2 of those out like that. And then I inked it up a little bit more, some more soft suede ink. And you can either crumple it up or bend the petals, but I just like taking my bone folder and kind of just grabbing one of the petals and pulling them away to kind of curl the petals up a little bit, just to give it a little dimension, because you're going to layer these 2 flowers on top of each other. Okay, and then I used glue dots to stick those on there. So just put one on the bottom of whichever one, and then stick this one on top of. I like to offset them so you see the petals from underneath on it too. Okay, and then I took a rhinestone, the basic jewels, and I used the smallest. And what you can do to color these is use any alcohol-based marker you have. Sharpie's works, Copics works, the Spectrum Noir I believe will work. I haven't tried that yet, but I know the other 2 will work. And you just pick it up, and then you have the little center for your poinsettia. If you get that right on there. Oops. Got put on the wrong spot. There. Okay, and then another glue dot for sticking it onto the little greeting. Just going to put it right in the corner here. And then the tricky part about putting the sentiment on is you want to make sure that when you fold it down to mail it, that it's not sticking off one of the other edges. So what I like to do is to take it and then fold it in half. Decide where you want to put it, but it needs to overlap kind of on those 2. So then I use dimensionals on that also. Pop it off a little bit. I'm going to put them more towards the side that's going to be on the, kind of put them closer together on the one side. Let's see. Really cute here. Cute on this side. What do you think? You can't tell me. It's too bad. That side. I think we'll do it on this side. I think the other side's a little busy. So stick it right here and push down gently. And then I would undo it and then push down a little bit more to make sure that it's really on there. And that is the finished product. I hope you guys enjoyed today's project and will join me next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.